going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the eNVision Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Portillo, joined by my lovely co-host and a little tired today, Lynn Portillo.
Hey, guys.
How's it going? Welcome back. We're excited to have you back for another episode. This is actually, I'm going to call this a special episode. It's a special edition episode because we've just got back from our trip. We took a weekend trip. Lynn surprised me with tickets to celebrate my birthday. And when I say we just got home, it's because we just got home maybe 10, 15 minutes ago at the time of us recording this. So this is a special edition. I think that we were talking about on the plane what we wanted to record this week. And really what I thought would be a great idea, a great way, a great special edition and give tips on is traveling with babies. I know we talked about this already when we talked about our trip going to Mexico, but lessons have been learned that I mentioned last time. So the knowledge has been applied, right? Sat there, thought about what I did wrong the last time. How can I improve this time? And lessons were applied. Lessons that were learned were applied. So I think we did a good job going there and coming back. But yeah, I think that it's just, we weren't the only couple or parents, single, I shouldn't say single parent because I don't know the situation, but we weren't the only people with children in both flights. And it's definitely, I don't want to get too much in, I don't want to give too much away just yet, but I do want to talk about one thing that I think is going to be important to share is the importance of having your partner there or both parents there to help with the baby and help with the transition of the plane ride. I think that's very key. I think that's important. That's something that I want to touch upon myself.
Yeah.
But so that's why I'm mentioning it now so I don't forget it. But anyways, Lynn, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You look a little tired.
I am tired.
It's been a long day.
You can tell I was on a plane. My hair is not done. My makeup's in the luggage still because we literally just got home. But it was a good flight. It's a short one, Vegas isn't too far away, but Rhaegar did a great job.
Yeah.
And so even though I'm tired now, it's nothing like Mexico. I'm just tired because it was a late flight and we had a long day and we were busy doing a bunch of fun stuff before we flew out. But nothing like Mexico, so I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
How are you?
Especially the flight home from Mexico, which I would say has to this day, and I hope that was the hardest challenge we'll have to deal with the baby flying international, because that one was
You just can't trust airlines, man.
world.
You're on their timeline.
And in fact, when we were leaving today, coming home, we were on the tarmac for like 10, 15 minutes, and I had trauma. I had PTSD because the pilot goes, hey, we're having issues with one of our systems, and so we're just doing another systems check, and hopefully we'll be out of here shortly. Shouldn't take too long. And so as soon as he said that, I just kind of looked at Lynn, and Rhaegar's kind of playing in the middle between us. It wasn't a full flight, so we were able to get our own row to ourselves, which was really nice. I just look at Lynn, and she looks at me, and I was like, well, I mean, thankfully it's nighttime. It's a short flight, so hopefully he just passes out here shortly. We put him to bed. If worst case scenario, we'll figure it out, but we won't stress out about it at this time. Thankfully, it did actually only take like 3-5 more minutes.
Yeah.
And then the pilot gets back and I was like, all right, we're good to go. We've been cleared for takeoff. And then we take off. And so it was nice.
Thank goodness. Delays are always stressful. Now they feel even more stressful as parents.
Yeah, no, I agree. But so for me, yeah, I'm doing great. I feel really, really blessed. There's a lot of things that I could talk about, and there's a lot of things that I could mention. And so I probably will, and I'll keep them brief. You may notice my straw hat over here. If you know, you know. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. But it was a great trip. I want to thank you for surprising me and for allowing us to go down there and see, my best friend and seeing some people down there and just spend time together. And so it was, it was good. It was good to see, people that we love and people that we haven't seen in a while. I hadn't realized that I hadn't seen one of my best friends in
so long.
Been almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
And we hadn't gone to his house to visit him in 3 years, a little over 3 years since we had moved to Texas, a couple of years back. So it was cool. It was just cool to be there again. It was cool to go visit our old places that we like to go eat, places that things that we like to do, stores that we like to visit, particularly for me, the gaming store and the anime store. And then, again, I'll talk about that in a second, but adventuring to a new location this time, which was really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I think it's important that, well, we haven't, as you said, we haven't traveled in a long time, and with having a baby, I think you can be really hesitant to travel and make moves like that and do things you did before having a baby. So I kind of just stepped in and was like, we can still do it with a baby, and we still had so much fun. I mean, we didn't go to like bars and stuff like you do in Vegas, but we don't drink anyway. So we got to do all the same things. Rhaegar got to eat all the same foods that we love to do. So it was just introducing him to it. And I think that's also a good perspective, just what we're talking about, traveling with babies and stuff in this episode, is don't let being a parent, even though you're new, hold you back from doing the things you used to do, which,
Agreed.
you know, we get nervous about doing it, but it's honestly, if you come prepared, it's not that bad. We really didn't have any issues during the whole trip at all.
No, and thankfully, before we even left, I think we might be able to start there, is just packing and what that looks like, and having a plan for what you're going to bring, anticipating every situation possible, but not overpacking. And here's where I was going with that. Thankfully, I walked in before we were getting ready to leave. Lynn did one last check of our suitcase, and I can see her not really struggling, but I see her kind of like walking in. She's like pushing the luggage down and trying to zip it up. And she had wanting to bring his portable high chair. Wanting to bring his portable high chair. I look at her, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, you don't think we need this? I'm like, any restaurant that I've been to or that we're going to is most likely going to have a high chair. We're not going out.
It's different in Vegas compared to Reno.
Yes, but we've been there before, right? We've gone and we knew for a night. Well, you knew the itinerary better than I did because it was a surprise for me. But we knew that at least the restaurants that we visited, that I would have hoped that we were going to visit. You know, to be honest, which we did, but they had high chairs. So you know, she said, "Should we take it?" And I was like, "No, I think we'll be fine." And it's not like we were going to go, like you said, we weren't going to go to the club because we had a baby. We weren't going to go out to the bars, again, because we had a baby. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like, that's a phase that we've outgrown in our life already. But for the most part, any restaurant, anything that we were going to do, I think the essentials were the stroller, his car seat, funny story there, and well, obviously diapers and his clothes and things like that.
I overpacked even on diapers, and I didn't think I brought a lot. Like, babies don't actually need a lot.
No, that's what I learned that.
Yeah, I mean, we packed everything in one check-in bag.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and
then we had his diaper backpack.
Correct. And so, yeah, we brought as much as we could that we figured would be essential. So I'll let you, because you're the one that packed, and you're the one that planned everything, walk us through your steps of organization, of planning. Why did you bring that? Why was it important? Just give us the whole rundown of packing for Rhaegar.
I have a list of things that I kind of go to for packing for Rhaegar, but there are just certain things that I think about. And don't overpack. Make sure it's accessible.
Yeah.
And I guess limit toys and clothes. I feel like those are the things that people always want to bring so much of. Like, babies can rewear onesies as long as they're not having tummy problems.
Or blowouts.
But you don't need to bring their whole closet. You really don't.
No.
He didn't wear, we were there for
4 nights.
4 days in total.
Yeah.
3 nights.
3 nights, yeah, you're right.
And he didn't even wear half of the clothes I brought. And I only packed enough to have one a day, basically. And then, like, 2 emergency ones, which we needed. But
correct.
I really try to focus on, okay, he needs diapers, he needs wet wipes, he needs, like, his baby toiletries. Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
Which is the essentials, again.
Because, honestly, like, toys, they barely play with them anyway. The whole plane ride, which I have on here, we bring this blow-up pillow, which is, to me, an essential thing to pack. A blow-up pillow, number 1. Because nursing, laying down, any kind of movement, it's easy, helps you. Back support, you know, remember the Mexico story? My back was dying, the position I was in. It helps, and it folds up. The whole time, he was just playing with the little string from that. Literally 20 minutes of the flight.
And that's what I've learned. I don't mean to cut you off there, but
you're good.
That's you never know what a baby's gonna want. You may have an idea because you packed 3-4 different toys, but to your point there, He just wanted the pillowcase and to chew on the string.
Yeah.
And he was playing with his other toys, but they weren't, he had more fun with that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we may overcomplicate it ourselves, and we may overthink it and say, oh, well, we need 20 toys or we need 10 toys.
Yeah.
You just need a few toys.
Fancy big ones too. I don't bring any with sound. I have their rattles, but that's it. And tiny. They don't need to be big toys either. I see kids with like stacks and they have to put it on like the tray table and stuff, and that just gets in the way because you also want to make sure that you don't overpack and you keep it minimal and you make it accessible because you don't have a lot of space around you.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that you're comfortable yourself. So if you're trying to move stuff all over, which I feel like we had a lot in Mexico, there's just too much. That is what really causes like more stress because you're trying to balance everything. Toys are flying all over. They're going under the seat.
Correct.
So definitely I just limited it on the toys was a big thing and the pillow. Then another thing which we got to use for the second time I'm using it was, I mentioned it in the Mexico video too, the thing that Alex packed in our check-in bag. I got it in the backpack. Alex did not mess with the diaper bag this time, so I knew where everything was.
I decided to stay away to not repeat the same mistake as the Mexico trip. Like I said, the lessons were learned, the knowledge was applied.
He did good.
We were in a good spot.
He did really good. So this thing, it is basically a toddler leg support. So it wraps around the
tray table
and then it connects and velcros in with the seatbelt. And it just allows your kid, it's meant for toddlers. So they sit there and their little feet don't dingle. They just can go straight out and they can have toys there. It has a little border thing. But with Rhaegar, we put the pillow on there. He laid down a little bit. We put the toys kind of there and he was able to sit and play with them and not drop them on the floor. It was really good catching that.
It served as a floor bib when we fed him some banana, when we fed him some food.
Yeah, so that thing, it was like $16 on Amazon. I definitely recommend bringing something like that. If you can have the whole seat, like the row, if you do lap child and the flight's not full, and they can have the middle seat, it was totally worth it. Yeah. That it creates a safer space so he's not like trying to fall off the seat too. Correct. It's because he had a few tumbles. He got a little mark too. So it also protects him from falling a lot because you get tired holding him the whole time.
And it's not that, I mean, yeah, we can get tired too, but he also gets tired of us holding him. Yeah, because the reason why he fell is I had him and he rolled off of me. And he tried to escape, and then as he was standing up, he lost his balance and then fell forward. And so it was, I mean, it's not nothing serious, nothing bad, thankfully, but, and he didn't even cry. He just kind of like, he bumped his head and he goes, and then that was it. But, yeah, no, to your point, it definitely, I mean, yeah, I think that's where you were going. So walk us through how the difference it was this trip, on the way home, having the whole row to ourselves versus the few trips that we have taken, and it's been either with someone that we don't know that sits next to us in the third seat, or with our family if we've all taken up the row or two rows.
I think that with our family, it was great because we were able to have a break holding him when it was a really long flight. But it just creates so much tight space if the row is filled. So when you have that, he is a very independent kid. I think because when he was little, I made him do independent playtime, which you still do. Leave him. I do it now even more, but I would leave him. And when he's tiny, I just left him like in the crib alone, away. He'd be on the couch crib or in his bassinet, and I'd walk away to where I can still see him, but just let him think I'm not there so he's comfortable. And honestly, I think that's, now I leave him in his crib and he just hangs out, has so much fun. He doesn't need any entertainment, and he needs that just all the time now, so he doesn't like to be held a lot. So when we have everyone in the row and there's no space and he has to be held the whole time, even if it's family, he gets really frustrated and grumpy. Yeah. So and we had to hold him because we had a stranger next to us in the window seat when we were going to Vegas, and he was definitely getting restless. Our arms were tired. Even though it's a short flight, it just kind of wears you down, and he's like moving around, and nursing is really hard with having a stranger next to you, but with having that whole row, you guys. I mean, it's honestly not even, it's like this space of where we are now, pretty much. A little bit bigger, but little bigger. it makes all the difference. I was able to like sit crisscross, nurse him on both sides. He fell asleep as we were landing.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to crawl all over, back and forth. And what Alex mentioned before, having one other person, your significant other, whoever, there is really helpful. Who's going to help? Because we actually, on the flight, there was another woman right across from us with a baby, and maybe like her sister or something was there, but her sister was asleep the whole time, and her poor baby was like sad and crying, and you could just tell she was getting tired. I almost was like, oh, let me hold your baby for you too. But I mean, we had our baby, so it was a little hard, but having a support person to help, I think it would be really hard to travel with just you and a baby and not having a whole row. It would be really hard. So just if you get that option, it is really, really helpful.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's why I'm very thankful to your mom when we moved back from Texas that she flew down to pick you and Rhaegar up, and that way you had that support. I was very intentional about having someone fly down, and I was just very happy that it worked out and your mom was able to come down and help us out. Because I agree with you. These are the two things that I noticed this time around that I did notice in Mexico. And in reality, the flight to Mexico, I was aware because it was just you and I and him. And thankfully the person who sat next to us was chill, like they had no issues with the baby or anything like that. And we were I think we were in the very front row. Then on the way back, so that gave us that extra space. But then on the way back, my mom was there and my sister was there. So you all sat together and I sat by myself, and so it just made it easy. Not gonna lie, made it easy for me to just kind of tune everything out and let me just do my own thing. You guys figure out the baby. But I learned, or I was more aware this time. I want to break this down into two things.
Yeah.
One, the importance of just having any support. Because to your point, you know, the lady next to us, she did great. I'm not taking anything away from her. She did great. But you could tell that at the times where her baby got a little louder or started screaming more, there's so much you can do. And now being parents in that situation, like Lynn knows, and we'll talk about this a little bit now and most likely later on, but I'll just put it this way. I'm not one for scenes. Once a baby, a toddler throws, you know, he's a baby right now, but let's say we're at the store. This is the example I use. Let's say you're at the store and you're walking around, and then, you know, your child wants to grab something and you tell them no, and then they just throw this tantrum and throw themselves on the floor. Like, I'm not for that at all. And I've told Lynn that from the get-go before we even had Rhaegar, before we even looked at having kids. I said, I'm not for that. Like, that is something that will not fly with me. And we need to make sure that we are raising our children the right way, that they are not having those temper tantrums.
Not being spoiled and wanting everything.
When they don't get their way.
Yeah.
And so just having anyone there for support, I think it's crucial. Because, as I was saying, you know, she held her own. She did great. But you could tell that if her sister or whoever was there with her would just help out,
just like hold the baby
for a little
second
bit, I think it would have made a world of difference.
And it helps the mom calm down.
Correct. It helps, and you can speak on that because you're going to know more about that than me. But what I was speaking more so is just being aware of people around you. At the end of the day, listen. At the end of the day, everyone, I want to believe, understands that when you get on a plane, there's going to be the chances that you sit next to a baby and then you have to endure, you know, a flight like that. I have seen, you know, either news clippings or videos on YouTube, Reels or Instagrams or whatever, of people getting upset because a kid is being too loud, or you know, a toddler or a more older kid is like kicking the chair a lot, like different things like that. Now, again, I've made this comment before. Everyone parents in different ways. I'm not here to tell you that the way we parent is the best way. This is just what we want to do, and this is what works for us. If you have a totally different opinion, you disagree with me, you're entitled to that. That's totally fine. We can agree to disagree. But for us, this is what we want to do. This is a foundation we want to build for our family and for our children. And so, yeah, I'm just not for the temper tantrums. I'm not for the misbehaving. And what I appreciated was Rhaegar did phenomenal. And I don't want to make it seem like, you know, he needs to behave. I understand he's still a baby. I understand there's still a lot to grow and a lot to learn. But he did great.
It's just teaching him now, though, that if he does do that because he's a baby. He obviously does
Correct.
try to get his way, that we're going to correct it now.
But here's where I think that he understands now, because you can back me up or you can call me out and it's fine with me. But and this is the other point I was going to make, when I get involved, I give him this look. You may know this from growing up. Your mom, your dad had that look, and once they gave you that look, they didn't have to say anything. You knew that if you didn't behave, it was about to go down. It was about to go down there in front of everyone, or it was going to go down later back at home. And my parents were very good at that, especially my dad. My mom, I would rebel against more, and I've talked about this a little bit before. Mom, I love you. Apologies for everything that I put you through. But my mom had that look, but I knew that I could test it. I knew that I could push the boundaries just a little bit. I knew that, I could get away with things.
You can always push us moms. We're going to be more caring and be like, oh, my baby, it's okay.
But my mom had that look. Now, when my dad got involved and he would give me that look, I knew that I better behave or things are about to happen. And so I don't know, I take that from my dad, or I just take the male figure in the leader figure in the family. And so when Rhaegar's misbehaving, his thing is he'll reach for Lynn's glasses or he'll reach for my glasses, and I'll just give him a very stern no. And you can see him, he just like looks at me and he's processing it, and then he just either looks right past me or he looks down and he just tries to ignore me. Mm-hmm. But he stops. And so, like, yeah, there's been times we've had to swat his hand away and just kind of like reinforce, like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. And I want to, I believe he is learning, and I believe he is understanding. Because when we were on the plane today, he was doing great. Then he got a little bit of fussy, and then he started like spilling food all over the place, and he started standing because we had him sitting down. We pulled his tray table over and we were feeding him a banana, and he likes to eat it himself, so we were letting him do that. But then he decides to get up and start like dancing while eating food, and it took me a second to recognize, but then I said, whoa, no, this isn't the behavior we want to reinforce. So I sat him down and I said, no, if we're eating, we're sitting down. We're not playing. We're not standing up, because he doesn't do that when he's in his high chair. He doesn't do that when we're at restaurants. And so in my head, it hit me. I'm like, if I let him do this now,
he might try to translate it to others.
Correct. He's going to try and do it to other things. So I sat him down and I said, no, we're not doing that. And he just kind of like looked at me, and then he just sat down, and then he ate, and then he tried again. He stood up and he tried to play, and I said, nope, we're not doing that. And I sat him back down. And I said, if you're going to play around, we're done. You're not going to eat anymore. Mm-hmm. And he just like looked at me again, continued eating. 10 seconds later, got up again. I said, okay, we're done. I grabbed a banana. I closed his tray table. I sat him down. He just looked at me. And he just like looked down and started playing with his hands. But then he went back to Lynn like 10 seconds later. His attention span obviously is not there. But he's learning, right? Because after he didn't cry, he didn't fuss, he didn't do anything, but he understood.
He knew he was done. And then, so he didn't get banana until way later.
Yep. And then we did it a little bit later, and then he got his banana, and it was that was just a cute story of him. Like, I take a bite, he take a bite, and then he just makes this cute smiley face. He just like he's just like it was just great.
Every food he eats, he goes
Yeah, it's such a joy, such a privilege, and such a blessing to see him grow up. But that's the 2 points that I wanted to relate is seeing, if you're flying with a baby, having support, having help is key, in my opinion. I think it just helps you as the parent, helps you as the person traveling with the child, with the baby, helps you relax and calm down. Because I want to say, I'll say it this way, any decent human is gonna, not want to cause waves or cause trouble for others around them. And that's something that we don't want to do, right? We want people to enjoy their flight. They got to get to their destination for whatever the reason is. They got their life going on, and just because our life is blending in with theirs for those moments in time, I don't want to leave a bad impression. I don't want to leave a bad association. And so we try to make friends with the people who are at least in our row if someone's sitting next to us. And, thank God all the people that we've had so far have been super positive. They've been super great. The lady who sat with us on the way there, Lynn mentioned her already. She was great. And then once we arrived... She was
from Canada, and she was so nice. She just kept talking to Rhaegar, and he was really into it and enjoying it.
She played with him on the way to Mexico. We had a lady behind us who played with him and wanted to take him, so she took him for like 10-15 minutes, gave Lynn and I a break. She played with him. He was entertained. So, my hat's off and my praises to y'all who just help out and support the flight attendants. Obviously, try and make it as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
They come over and play with Rhaegar, have come and played with Rhaegar, and then just interact with them. So we really appreciate that. It just, as a parent, I think it really helps you relax and helps you unwind and be like, okay, if my child has a little bit of a temper tantrum, people understand there's that community feeling, so it just makes things a little bit better.
And the babies can feel the energy, so if the mom is getting stressed holding him, then they're gonna cry and stuff, and it just keeps it going. So if you have someone to pass the baby over and for you to calm down a little bit and reset, then they can get some different energy. It helps.
Yeah, and like you said that one time, I think you said, how'd you say it? It gives them a change of scenery.
Yeah.
And so when those moments happen, it could just be for a couple minutes, but it buys you a couple minutes versus them just having a meltdown and exploding. And thankfully, we haven't gone through that. And I pray that we don't go through that. But we have learned that we want to continue traveling and just exposing Rhaegar to traveling so he just gets more used to it. I say that every single time that we've traveled, things are getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
We're understanding it a little bit better.
And we're more prepared ourselves.
Correct. So with that, I tied the 2 points that I wanted to make. What else? What else have you learned through this trip that would be helpful tips that is important when traveling with a baby?
Water bottle. That I did not have with Mexico, and I forgot to fill up his water bottle going there. But coming back, it was such a good thing to have because we were eating and it was hot, so hot on the plane. It just was not cooling down. I mean, it's summertime, and then he's teething, so it gives him something to chew on as well. So that, and then also, honestly, I was thirsty. I took a couple sips out of that because on the ride there, I was so sad I forgot to fill it up because we didn't even get any drink service that the planes offer because it was bumpy or something was happening. They just weren't able to do it, and I was dying of thirst because we have to drink a gallon a day, and now my body has adjusted to that gallon. So I'm always thirsty, and Vegas was so hot too, you guys. I was struggling to adjust to the temperature. So I think a water bottle, just a sippy one, that was a game changer. Because Rhaegar loves straws too, so he likes to just suck on his water bottle. That was a really good thing to bring. Binkies, so water bottle, binkies, anything that they can suck on for their ears. He had no issues this time.
Yeah, he did great.
All with
ascending and taking off.
Yeah, and coming down.
Or ascending and descending.
Yeah, it's because their ears can hurt. That's why you always want to nurse or give them a bottle or something to suck on. And he wasn't even sucking on anything
when we descended.
Went down, and he was just hanging out, doing good, no issues. So having anything like that tiny that you can put in there, but I nurse sometimes, but having the water bottle and a binky is also really good. I have a list here. Let's see. Oh, okay. So, babies can have pain, and you just never know when it's going to come, especially with teething. So, Motrin, baby Tylenol, and teething gel. I think that saved us just for the trip in general being away.
Yeah.
Because he would get really, really fussy at dinner time while we were out at restaurants. I think that even traveling and going to places you're not used to going, new atmospheres and stuff, and you just don't know how your baby's going to be, because when you're home, you're more prepared for stuff.
Correct.
You can go home, go to the house, but when you're with other people, we're on other people's time. They're driving us around. It's a bigger city, takes a lot longer to get places.
Correct.
Having just Motrin, baby Tylenol, and teething gel at all times, that was a lifesaver. If I could tell, he's salivating a lot, he kept trying to bite our hands. Very painful. I just put the teething gel on, and that soothes at least for a good couple hours before, if you don't have any pain medicine. So that was really good to have too. Yeah,
and I would add one thing. It's not on your list. I thought about this today, but we should, and maybe we have it. I just didn't ask, because here at home, what we do is we'll get a washcloth, right? We'll have a clean washcloth, and we'll wet it. And then we'll put it in the freezer. And then when he's teething or his mouth is hurting, we'll give him that, and he'll gnaw on it for a little bit, and that keeps him entertained for a good 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, until it fully melts.
Yeah, and it really helps him. So that's something that I thought about earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish we would have had. And that's something I think that we should. Anytime a baby's teething, we should have some sort of
Yeah, because
something like
most
that.
hotels have little fridges and freezers
Mhm.
too, so you can just make it anywhere. I didn't bring that, but I thought of it. But I was like, how am I gonna do that? It would have been fine probably going through TSA because I always have Ziploc baggies too. I think that's an essential thing to
Yeah.
always bring. Put dirty diapers, what toys they drop, food, anything. Just have the sandwich Ziploc baggies or a gallon bag.
Mhm. Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the teething towels also were really good. Another thing, one thing we didn't get to use, which I have on the list, but I didn't realize I needed an air pump. I got a $16 children's travel blow up mattress, and it has a safety bumper,
Mhm.
so they don't roll off. Which Rhaegar is a roller; he just rolls constantly. Yeah, back and forth, and it was tiny. It was like 12 by 8 inches. Like it wasn't a big thing at all, so it's really easy to pack. I fit it in the suitcase with all 3 of our clothes, shoes,
Yep.
and diapers. Everything we needed in that suitcase, and this mattress, and it blows up if you have a little air pump, which you can get really tiny ones nowadays.
Correct.
And I am so sad I didn't have the air pump because it would have been perfect. So when he naps during the day, we don't have to lay on the bed and watch him and stuff and surround him with pillows. He could have securely had his own bed and slept in there. So that's something that I just found, and I was going to trial it this trip. We'll have to do it next time with a little air pump, but I was so excited about it. And sad we didn't get to use it, but I think it would have worked well. He would have slept on it just fine, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And we'll, like you said, we'll use it for camping, and we'll have to use it for these next trips. But yeah, I think that, I think to your point, because when we laid him down, we would lay him down on our bed, and then we'd kind of make a little fortress of pillows. And we were there. Like, we would never really leave him by himself, but it would make it easier to kind of give him his own, mattress, or give him his own space, and then not have to necessarily worry about him falling or anything like that.
Yeah, and then we keep walking in, checking on him and disrupting it, or I just nap with him.
Correct.
So you can't be as productive and get things done. So while we were doing this, we're also still doing the 75 hard challenge. So we're in and out, going to the bathroom, drinking water, trying to read. It would just been a little easier to let him just kind of, when we lay him in the crib, we go do stuff, when we turn on the sound machine, we could have done that. But I learned my lesson. I'm going to get a little travel pump. They're tiny. They have tiny ones now. It's pretty impressive.
To be honest, we could have just gone to the store and bought one
but
if we needed it. But there was no... the way the room, the way our friend has the room set up, there was no space.
Yeah, we would have taken it.
There was no space for it. But, okay, that point about 75 hard, I want to go back to that, but towards the end, because it's going to all relate to something you said earlier. And what I want to talk about, I guess, more towards the end. No, not right now. Okay. More towards the end is not having your children adopt to your life and what you want to do, and not always having to accommodate, not always having to change your life completely around, and feeling like you can't do things just because you have a child again. So that's why I think it's important to end on, because I think that's an important tip. But for this, continuing with the list of items that I think were very helpful, let's talk about your favorite, the car seat.
Oh my
The car seat and the stroller, which I had to fight on the stroller part tooth and nail. And that was a hill I was willing to die on, and I'm glad I did, because I was proven right.
Yeah, I put that on here.
And I don't need to say I told you so, because I don't need to say that. I'll let her just say it, or I'll let you explain it.
Yeah. Okay. We'll so Mexico, I brought the umbrella stroller, the classic, just fold up one. That's cheap and easy to use. I was trying to tell him it's tiny. Let's use it. Like the other stroller's so big, I don't want to use it. He was right. It was hot. We had to do all of our workouts still. It had a shade. It has a cup holder. It was comfortable for Rhaegar to lay on. We could hook the fan on it, because I also brought a little fan for him to have on the stroller and
another
in the
Amazon
car.
find.
Yeah, that was only $20, and it's charges, so no batteries. So
USB charge.
Yeah, USB charger. So you don't have to use any batteries, and you put it so you can check it in because you're not allowed to put those on the plane.
Correct.
Yes, Alex was right. So I put sunscreen on Rhaegar and I put his hat on him, but we had the shade on the thing, so he was safe and sound, all in the Las Vegas sun, and Alex was right. Okay.
And I think the more important thing for me was that it was just comfortable.
Yeah.
He had the shade, which you talked about, but he had more space, and we were able to configure the car seat. We were able to configure the stroller to many different settings, right, or different positions. And so if he was tired, we could lay him down. He'd fall asleep. If he wanted to see, we'd sit him up, and it's just more versatile.
And he puts his legs out really far and likes to spread them and put them up like he's just resting on a beach. Yeah, he just puts his feet literally he's sitting there and it has a tray table and he just sticks his little feet out like he's like, living the best life.
It's hilarious. But yeah, I was just thinking more in terms of comfort. Now, yes, it's bigger versus the umbrella because it's a foldable, full-size stroller that the car seat that we're going to talk about too goes on top of it. It was a set. But it didn't take any much longer to check through. It didn't take much longer to get. It didn't cause it didn't cause more pain than the benefits we receive from it. Hopefully that makes sense of what I'm trying to say.
It does.
But yeah, I was just looking more in terms of comfort for him. And oftentimes I think what we'll do is we'll say, no, this is kind of how I think you were thinking, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but you would say things like, and you just said it, it was the umbrella is more compact, it's smaller, it's easier, it's more comfortable. It's lighter. And all facts that are true. But is it the best tool, is it the best stroller that we need for this particular trip? Every single trip is different. Now, if we were going to Vegas in October, or we were going to Vegas in January, February, where the months are a lot cooler, cool, I'm totally fine with the umbrella. But for this time of year, for the things that I figured that we were going to do, I'm glad that we took that stroller, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, it was good, and it has big wheels, so it's kind of an off-roading stroller, and just with Vegas and mountains, with having to do so many walks, it was a lot better. Yeah,
cool.
I agree. That's pretty much what I had on the list.
No. Don't.
Yes. We can talk about the car seat.
Don't hide it. Don't let it go by. We're gonna sit in this a little bit. We're gonna soak in it. We're gonna laugh at it. We're gonna enjoy it. We're gonna have a good time with it, and then we're gonna be done with it.
Okay.
But funny story with the car seat. I'm on my way home from work the day that we're leaving, and I text Lynn, or I call her. I said, "Hey, I don't mean to ruin your day." I think is how I said it. And I think she was scared that I couldn't go anymore, or that things were planning, that the plans were gonna change, or something like that. And she's like, "Oh, what happened?" And I said, we have his clothes, we have his diapers, we have his stroller, we have all this figured out. How are we going to transport the baby? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we need a car seat. And this lovely lady tries to play it off, but she's not as good as me. She tries to play it off because I asked her, I was like, did you think about that? She's like, oh yeah, no. I was just going to take the one from your car. I was like, okay, I bought it. I was like, all right, whatever. And so I get home, or I text in the car ride, I said, hey, maybe we should look at something more compact. The one in my car it's pretty big. I mean, it's a really good car seat, but it's just big and bulky for travel.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. It'd be terrible to carry into the airport.
Yeah, and so she goes, okay, let me check. And she checks Walmart, and they had one in stock. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll get home right now. We'll run to Walmart. We'll pick it up. We'll be fine. And she goes, all right, cool. And then it hit me. I'm like, wait, we have the stroller that we're taking. The stroller has the car seat that comes with it. We'll just use that. And she goes, oh, okay, that may work. So she goes and pulls it out. We check the specs. Okay, he still fits in it. Barely fits in it. Like, in terms of the length of the straps,
it's hard.
He barely fits in it. But weight-wise, like, everything was still good. And so we took that. And thankfully that we did, because it just made travel, like, adding the car seat to the... Taking the car seat through the airport, no problem. Checking it in, no problem. Setting it up in my buddy's car, no problem. And then, we had obviously the transportation for the baby, because that was one of the things that I was trying to not argue, but one of the things that I brought up with Lynn is when she told me that this was my surprise. I was like, well, I think it would have just made more sense to drive. It's not a long drive. It would have taken longer with the baby, I'm not gonna lie, but we'd have our car, we'd have the car seat, it'll be a little bit more comfortable. She's like, no, I want him to start, I want him to continue practicing with flying. Let's fly. I said, fair enough, we'll do that.
It's such a fast flight too.
And it is a fast flight. It makes it so much easier. So again, I go back to what I said earlier. I think oftentimes we try not to do things because we feel it's an inconvenience to ourselves or to other people, or it's more steps that we need to do or whatever. But I think that if we really break it down and we really come up with a game plan of what we're trying to accomplish, at least for this particular, situation, trip, baby, dynamics change, what does that look like? It wasn't that bad. Because originally, when we fly, pre having Rhaegar, one of the things that I absolutely dislike to do, I'm not going to say hate because it comes in handy oftentimes, especially if you're traveling far, checking in luggage. I do not like to check in luggage. I like to arrive to my destination, get in the car, get going, start my vacation. But with a baby, we had to check in, we knew we had to check in his stroller. We knew that we had to check in his car seat. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, let's make traveling easier for us. And we fly Southwest most of the time. And what I would like about Southwest is you get 2 free check-ins for every passenger. Plus you get your free carry-on and free personal item. So in grand total, you can take a smaller suitcase with you. You can take your backpack, and then you get 2 underneath. So we were already checking one thing, meaning that we had to get to the destination, go to baggage claim, wait for that item. I told Lynn, you know what? Let's just check everything in and make travel so much easier for us. And we did. And all we did was carry his diaper bag. And I carried my backpack. And that was it.
Yeah.
That's all we carried. And we carried the stroller with us. This is a hack if you've never flown with a baby, or if you've never flown with a baby who needs a stroller, which that doesn't make sense because babies need strollers. If you haven't flown with a baby, you can take your stroller with you all the way through TSA, up to the gate, and then check it in at the ticket counter up there with whatever airline that you're flying with. Super easy, super convenient, and it's not, again, no hassle or minimal hassle. And we were already checking something in, so we knew that we had to wait for it, so it worked out for us.
Yeah, it was so much easier just having that.
Yeah, cool. All right, so with the car seat, we talked about that. What else? Was there anything else on your list that we missed?
No, I think it's not a long list because you don't want to overpack stuff. So just find things that to you help you the most. So for me, it was the pillow, that thing that goes in between the seats that help basically cover the floor from him, so he's safe and has his toys and stuff. Water bottle, binkies. That's really, we didn't take much else out, so just don't overdo it. Babies can entertain themselves with just a water bottle or a string. Don't put too much pressure on yourself to bring their whole entire play set of stuff.
Agreed, or wardrobe. And depending on where you're going, and if you're going remote, this might be more tricky, but chances are where you're going to a city or a town or a small city or whatever.
Or to go to beaches.
But there's typically will be some sort of store that you can stop by once you get to your destination. Like if there's a Walmart or a Save Mart or a Costco or things like that. Again, it just depends on your destination where you're going. But if you forget to pack something that you think is important, you can always just buy it there. You can always buy it wherever you're going.
And if you're going to someplace warm, like we were in Vegas, he just slept in his diaper every night. I never put him in an outfit because it's warm anyway. So that saves you a whole outfit right there.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and it helps.
Yeah, and so like Lynn said, I think that's important to highlight that again, is don't overthink it. Make a list. You're really good at lists, and I think lists help because it helps you, okay, this is important, exactly, just remember and check things off the list. Make sure that you have everything. But yeah, don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it. Make sure that you remind yourself that the whole reason you're taking this trip or going to this place is hopefully it's for fun. And hopefully it's for an activity, spending time with family, seeing family. And so remember that that's the most important thing versus the things that we bring or the things that we bring along for the journey.
Yeah. So I think we should go back to what you were talking about. You wanted to talk about for kind of...
Yeah. That's where I was going to go.
Okay.
So Lynn made a great point at the very beginning is don't feel like you can't, don't feel guilty about continuing to do the things that you enjoy doing or how do I say this? Don't feel guilty if you like to travel. I'll say it this way. Don't feel guilty about traveling and feeling like you can't travel anymore because you have a baby. That's not true. Are things going to look different? Yes. Is it going to take more time to plan things out? Yes. Do you have to consider different situations? Yes. All these things are true, but that doesn't mean that you can't continue to do those things. It doesn't mean you can't continue traveling.
And
it doesn't
the more
mean you can't
prepared
continue.
you are, the more chances you can do more spur of the moment stuff. If you have a bag already packed with things you know you need to travel, you can do spur of the moment trips like you did when you were younger and having fun and stuff. I think that's important to add. It's how well you're going to prepare yourself and prep beforehand so you're successful in traveling.
Agreed. Perfect example. I'll just use us as the examples here. We flew to Vegas and we visited one of my best friends. We knew that the dynamic was going to be different. He knew that dynamic was going to be different. Besides the baby, like let's put Rhaegar off to the side for a second. We don't drink anymore. We don't go out and party anymore. He understands that. And he's cool with that. Like he doesn't make us feel any type of way because we don't do that anymore, because we don't have a beer with him. Like and we appreciate that. We respect, we love that. Right? But he also, on top of that new dynamic, it's now adding the baby, bringing Rhaegar back in. He understands that things are just going to look different, and we need to, for us, what we're asking for is just changing that dynamic and adapting to the new changes, and then we'll go from there. We still went out to eat till, again, all of our favorite restaurants.
Places.
Rhaegar was not an inconvenience. He had a lot of fun. It was really exciting for me. You can talk about from your point of view. But, for example, we went to Dim Sum. We went to Korean barbecue. We went to Hell's Kitchen. You know, fancy. You should know what Hell's Kitchen is. Fancy restaurant, but great food. We went to
a night bar, like a Viking bar.
Well, it's a restaurant.
A Viking restaurant.
Yeah. And then, what else did we do? We went out walking.
IKEA.
We went to IKEA. We went to the farmer's market, like things that we would normally do either here or that we do when we go visit him. And it was totally fine. Yeah. Yes, things looked a little bit different. Like if he got fussy, I picked him up and left the table for a little bit, or Lynn picked him up, left the table a little bit. We had to take additional breaks
We
to
took
go
nap
home.
breaks.
Yeah, nap breaks. You know, he's still young.
But honestly, we all want to nap too and rest.
Correct. He's still young. He can't stay awake for 17 hours straight or 12 hours straight. Hopefully no one's staying awake for 17 hours straight. But he can't stay awake for 12 hours straight. It just doesn't work, right? He'll have a meltdown. It's not good for him. So we would be out for 3-4 hours, and then we'd come home pretty much in the hottest part of the day, take a good 3-4 hour nap, and then we'd go out for dinner again. And it just worked out really well. And again,
it's a good schedule.
Buddy, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your flexibility, for your understanding, and for just an amazing weekend. It really means a lot. We had so much fun. And, you know, it was really cool to be able to share this experience with Rhaegar. Just seeing him, you know, we both love Korean barbecue. One of the things that I love about the restaurant we like to go to is they served a steamed egg. And so once we got there, we sat down, we ordered our food. I ordered my steamed egg. And so Rhaegar loves eggs. I'm eating. We're giving him some pieces. And like Lynn was saying, or we were saying earlier, he'll eat it, he'll grab it, and he'll just, you know, smile, and he'll go, And it's so cool to see him just be immersed in our life. We accommodate to him where we need to. What is the essential? Nap time. Food if he's hungry. If he needs to be, you know, doesn't want to be held anymore, needs to be left alone a little bit or have some independent time, like we will cater to that. That is part of our job as being his parents. But we also immerse him into our life. We don't want him to completely turn our life around. Remember, in the Bible, we've talked about this already, so I'll bring it up again. In the Bible, God commands us that we put each other first as husband and wife, and then we put our children after us, right? God first, then us, then our children. And we want to continue to be intentional about that because, again, eventually he's going to grow up. Eventually, he's going to find a significant other. He's going to get married. They're going to move out. He's going to start his own life. And it's just going to be Lynn and I again.
Yeah.
Or, more children, God willing. We do want to have more children in the future.
And it teaches him, too. It's also a good example for him as the man of the house to treat his future wife that way, too, and make sure he prioritizes her over us. Like, we understand that, too.
Yep. So this particular part of the conversation, I'm relating it more, and I'm talking more to the guys, right? The spouses, the husband, excuse me, the leaders of the household. Be that leader in your house and find the ways to still live the life that you enjoy, right? Going out and hanging out with friends, doing date nights, or going to the movies, or it's going to look different. I'm not going to lie to you and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that it's not going to look different anymore. It's going to look different. You have a baby, you may have more babies, but you can still do it. You can still travel. You can still go out on hikes. You can still work out.
You can still have sexy time.
Yeah, you can still be disciplined and have all those things that are important to you. You just have to figure out the best way to incorporate them. We talked about this again before, but one of what a friend, someone that we know, was asking, saying, "Hey, I mom of 2 now, trying to figure out how to continue getting into my routine, or how to go to the gym and how to incorporate all that." And Lynn just said, "Hey, I try to incorporate Rhaegar in all my workouts as much as I can. Like, don't feel like you can't work out, and don't feel like you can't live the life that you want to live. You just have to adapt, and it's going to look a little bit different."
And don't think you need a babysitter for everything either. Like, get them involved in doing stuff. Even I make bread all the time, and if he's not going to nap and I still need to make bread, he's just going to be making bread with me, and that's what I've been having him do.
Yes, and so at IKEA, I found this for Lynn, and she absolutely melted. It was a little cooking kit. So he's got tongs, he's got a spatula, he's got a whisk, he's got
a ladle.
And so it's just a little, it was in the kids section. And so he has his own utensils for the kitchen.
Yep, and he got this it's a bib, but it looks kind of like an apron, and it goes in the front. It has a little pouch to drop food, but I'm gonna put him in that. And we do the patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Roll it and mark it with an R and toss it in the oven for me and Rhaegar is what I've been singing, so it rhymes.
Yeah.
And so I had to make bread with me the other day, and I cut, because it's sourdough, I scored it with an R on it, and it was like a little mini sourdough. And so now I'm going to make him use his little utensils and make a little sourdough with me when he doesn't want to nap. So when he doesn't nap, he's learning a new cooking skill pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what, if he's not going to nap, then I'm going to use that time to teach him whatever I'm doing. So if I'm making myself lunch, I'll show him that, and it's been a really fun experience. So you can let them adjust to you.
Correct. And that's where I say, we both agree. Let them adjust to you, obviously within reason.
Yeah.
Right? There's things that you probably won't be able to do, or you won't be able to do as much with a baby, but find those things where you can include them. They're going to appreciate that. They're going to remember that. They're going to love that. And you're going to make those memories with them. And that's what we want to do, is we want to make memories for us. We know right now he's little. This is more for us, but it's going to lay that foundation of our consistency, of how we want to raise him, of our values, of our morals. And then he's just going to grow up in that. And that's what we want. And so it starts now. It starts with us. It doesn't start when he's 4. It doesn't start when he's 5. It doesn't start when he starts remembering things. It starts now. So that's I'll leave that there. I'll get off my little sermon.
No, that's good, though. I think that's a good way to kind of end it, because even though we're learning how to adjust traveling, we're sharing tips on that, it all comes back to that of him getting used to traveling and teaching him how to do that well and not be naughty and throwing tantrums and stuff like that. And while we are he's gonna get a little spanking if he does that in public, but it teaches him now, so then you don't have those tantrums when you're trying to correct when he's older, because he already knows it and he's familiar. So I told Alex we're gonna have to go on some other random trips just to keep practicing, especially us by ourselves with him, because it helps us practice our teamwork, working together while balancing how Rhaegar may be feeling. And definitely this later flight, it was like 8 o'clock flight at night. That was good for how he was acting.
His wake window.
Yeah, his wake window. Because the one going there was at like 5-ish. That one wasn't the best. That was I thought it'd be good because it was around dinner time, but it was not.
I think that's important to mention just because you brought it up, and I appreciate that. Figure out what is the best. Each baby's different, right? Figure out what is the best time to fly. There's going to be, you can get on YouTube and you can get advice from many people. We'll throw our own 2 cents in here. But the common denominator from all of the people that we've listened to, because we did watch a couple, YouTube videos, traveling with a baby, and just to get some tips for ourselves and do the research, be prepared. But each baby's going to be different. Some babies sleep way better in the morning, and that is the best time to fly, when they're sleeping. Some babies sleep more towards the middle of the day, or sleep more mid-morning, more towards the middle of the day. Figuring out what their wake window is and experimenting with it, I think, is part of the journey too. Because normally when we go out and travel, we will tend to come home the last day, usually Sunday, before we go back to work on a Monday. But for this particular trip, Lynn said, hey, I want to do a later flight, so we have all day Saturday there, but then come home Saturday night. That way we still have Sunday to get back into our routine, get things ready, get whatever we need to get done, and then we get back to work, back to the grind on Monday. And I was like, yeah, cool, I have no problem with that. Anytime that we were able to spend together, anytime we were able to spend with our friends, I'm appreciative of it, I'm blessed by it, and I'm happy with it. And so I was like, yeah, sure. And so Lynn, like she's mentioned, we've flown out at 5 in the morning with a baby. It was okay. We have flown out at 5 p.m. with a baby. Probably not the best one.
No.
We have flown out at 10 a.m. I think is when we came back from Mexico. Again.
No, that was bad.
Usually,
that one was a mistake.
Usually
he's a mid-morning, afternoon napper.
Yeah. So the best time that we've learned, now that we have his routine kind of figured out, is we want to fly right after he's had his best nap, which is usually in the middle of the day.
Because he doesn't need to sleep for us on the plane. I'd rather him be happy and in a good mood awake than us fighting to get him to sleep at his normal nap time.
Yep. Because he's in that phase where he arches his back. If you lay him down,
he came out fighting sleep.
So you lay him down or you put him on your shoulder, and if he is not comfortable, he will arch his back and try and fling himself back and start screaming and starts getting all fussy. So it's
very
hard.
Dramatic.
It's hard to get him comfortable on the plane if we don't have the row to ourselves, or just in general. Even if we do, there's only so much you can do, especially if the seatbelt sign is on and you can't get up. So finding out the best time for what works for your baby is going to be key. For us, now we've discovered that it's right after his nap. Whether we're flying there or flying home, it's right after his nap. And then if it's a longer flight, I would say anything over an hour and a half, we would need to get up at some point and just kind of walk them through the aisle. Or even if it's just going to the bathroom to reset
the location.
Reset the location and change them, and then just give them a couple minutes in there on the changing table. We have to figure out what works right. Again, it's going to look different. I'm not saying it's not. It's going to look different. But that, in my opinion, that's part of the joy. That's part of the journey. That's part of the fun. So, cool.
I agree.
Cool. There's one other thing that you mentioned right now that I think would be, last quick tip that I think would be important to note, and it just escaped me. This is embarrassing. Oh my goodness. You mentioned wake window. You mentioned, what else? Flight time, which is the wake window, but there was one other thing that you just mentioned, and you jogged my memory.
When he naps?
Not when he naps. Talked about flying distances, multiple. It went away.
That we're gonna go on more trips.
Yeah, you mentioned that, but there was one other thing that I think was important to mention, but I cannot remember for the life of me. This happened last time. I'm sorry. I should just blurt them out at that moment and be like, "Hold on."
Yeah,
hold on. We need to say this.
Don't say wait. Don't wait until the end. You can share it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even at the end. It was right now when you said something. It reminded me of that. But, nope.
I'm sorry.
Nope, it went away.
Well, he'll probably remember it in a couple days, and we'll put it on the next episode.
Yeah, if I remember, I'll say it, or usually it'll happen right after we're done recording. I'm like, oh, I remembered.
Yep.
Quick, get back on. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah, no, again, I appreciate the time that we spent in Vegas with our friends and then all the things that we got to do. Real quick, the story here is they surprised me now. Again, if you know, you know. I will be honest and say I don't know much. I know it's One Piece, okay? It's Luffy's hat from One Piece. I am still getting into the anime. I watched it when I was a child and it first came out. I got into it, but then I didn't watch it, and so I'm way behind. Like when I say way behind, is there's over 1,000 episodes, and I think we're at episode 30, so we're
That's embarrassing.
very beginning. But my brother swears up and down by it. I have friends that swear up and down by it that it's a great anime. So I'm just taking my time.
Well, I'm gonna be controversial. Naruto's better.
I will always say Naruto is better because it's my heart and soul there. It's my favorite all-time anime. But anyways, Vegas just opened, and they opened up a One Piece cafe in Vegas. It's officially sponsored, officially collaboration with Toei Animation, which is the studios that produces the One Piece anime. And Lynn and they surprised me with going to the cafe, which was awesome. I enjoyed my time there. We got some good food. We got some souvenirs. I got this hat.
He got a dessert.
Yeah, these guys had me wear the birthday satchel. And so I had a sign that said it's my birthday. And so we walk in, and after we order, we're making small talk while we wait for our food. And our server goes, "Wait, is it your birthday?" And I'm like, "Yes." And she goes, "Okay." Runs back to the counter, pulls out a dessert, gives it to me, and it's a devil fruit from One Piece. And she's like, "Happy birthday." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much." And so I appreciated it. We took some great pictures. I did not eat it. Okay?
Because we can't.
Because we cannot eat it because of 75 hard. So it hurt my soul. I still took it. It's in my friend's freezer, and I told him this is my excuse to come back and visit you once I'm done with 75 hard.
We are gonna
so
go.
I can go back and eat my dessert.
We have to go so we can try it. It was like a fancy. They had very fancy desserts.
Yeah.
It's like a chocolate.
It's a mousse.
Circle, and inside is the mousse.
Yeah, it's a devil fruit.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of the devil fruit. It's a devil fruit, but it's not the gum devil fruit. I don't think it's the purple one.
I don't know, but it was cute and so nice that they gave that to you for free.
Yeah, it was a great time. I told everyone in our group. I said I really think that they only gave it to me because they love the fact that Rhaegar has an anime middle name.
I started talking to them, and I was like, my son has an anime name because I was around a bunch of people who liked anime, so obviously I'm going to brag about it. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." And so, that's probably why. But it's okay.
Here's my straw hat.
And it fits his head.
It does. I was so happy. This is my new, this is going to be my new hat for a while. I'm going to be rocking it. Looks good.
Okay. I like the Naruto stuff, but it's okay. I'll watch One Piece if we keep watching it.
Then the last thing I'll say is I appreciate you for not only did you do the birthday as a surprise as my birthday gift, so thank you. But last time when we were starting 75 Hard, I told Lynn that I wanted to buy the book of Mental Toughness by Andy Frisella. And she surprised me with it.
I did.
It arrived yesterday.
Yeah, it arrived when we were
gone. So I just got it today.
It's very pretty. I didn't realize how big it was.
And it's a big book, so I'm excited to read it.
Wow.
I finished reading my second book in 75 Hard. Just finished reading the Killing Sacred Cows, which I've talked to you guys about, the investing book. I will talk more about that in the next episode. I wanna bring some things up of what I've learned and just share that part of the journey. And now I'm started my third book, which is You by Dr. Eric Thomas. And then the book on mental toughness is going to be my fourth book.
That's awesome.
I've been reading a lot. I've been enjoying it. I've been learning a lot. So I'm really thankful with 75 Hard. And I'm getting the fruit. I'm planting the seeds, and I'm getting the results that I've wanted out of it. Am I where I want to be? Absolutely not. There's still a lot more growth, a lot more runway to go through. But we're doing it. Yeah. We're staying consistent. In Vegas, we stayed consistent. We stayed intentional about what we were eating, not breaking our diet rules, not breaking, not having any cheat meals. So
we did good. It was hard.
It was hard.
We didn't go to some of the same spots that we normally like to because we couldn't eat anything there. But we enjoyed all the good normal foods that we like, and we didn't break the diet at all.
Yep.
And we're on day 27.
Vegas now has a Whataburger. I don't have to fly all the way to Texas to get Whataburger. I only have to fly a little bit.
And they're opening an H Mart.
So once we're done with 75 Hard, we're going to take another trip down there because there's a lot of food that we didn't get a chance to eat.
We didn't get to have somi, Korean corn dogs. I guess there's an amazing ice cream place our friends wanted to take us to, and it sounded amazing. So, and there's coffee shop with these cookies. Yeah, there's a lot of, that's why they say, what do they say about Vegas? Like, it's the city of sin or something.
Sin City?
Sin City, yeah. Well, because all the amazing, sugary, delicious foods down there.
Yeah.
And deep fried foods.
A lot of good food. A lot of good food there. So, no, it was good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It was good experience. It's about time for all the birthdays coming up. So, his was the first one down.
There's a lot of summer birthdays in my both of our families.
Yeah.
And so my birthday usually kicks it off. Plus we have graduations. My sister's graduating. Super proud of her.
Rhaegar's birthday's coming up.
Rhaegar's birthday's in July. My mom's birthday. So there's a lot of celebrations. Lots to celebrate in the summer. So our sister-in-law, my brother's girlfriend, her birthday, she just turned 21. And so
it's a fun time.
It's a great time in our life, and we're super blessed and super thankful for it.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, here's where we're landing the plane. Again, this is a special edition, super, not short. Essentially, we've been at it for a little bit over an hour, but I think it was important to share what we've learned so far traveling with a baby. I think that's helpful tips, and hopefully you guys find them helpful. So let us know what you think. Let us know if there's something that we're missing, something that you may have already traveled with a baby. Again, we're not.
Please share.
Yeah, please.
This is only the third time.
Yes, this is the third time.
It's just stuff that we're learning as we go.
Correct.
So far, it's working now.
Correct. And I've said this before. I will continue repeating it. We love being students. We want to learn. We want to grow. We want to get better. So please give us feedback if there's things that we haven't talked about that you want us to talk about. Let us know that, right? Interact with us on Instagram. Let us know. Drop a comment down on the post, on the YouTube video. Let us know. Give us that feedback. And if there's something that we may have missed in terms of traveling with a baby that you've already experienced with, and we're not thinking about it, please let us know. Save us that world of trouble. I don't want to get in trouble by Lynn anymore. It's scary when I get in trouble by her. She looks peaceful. She looks calm because she's got you guys. But when she doesn't have you guys and the camera's off, she can be a meanie.
I am a black belt. Watch out. No, I'm so nice though. I actually so nice though. I just lightly stare at him and he knows he messed up, but I don't say anything.
Yeah, she's really good. I'm just giving her a hard time, but she's awesome. Yeah, she's awesome.
Thank you. You did really okay. Ending it right now, he did really good this trip. He helped with Rhaegar so much, and he took the initiative without me even looking stressed or anything. He just did it, so I never got to the point of freaking out or being stressed because he just stepped in there. So he did a really good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate that. We're a team.
You learned.
We're a team, and that's what we need to remember, and that's what we want. That's what we want Rhaegar to see, and that's what we believe in. And so, we win together, we lose together. We learn together.
But we're not going to lose. We're going to win.
We're doing life together, so appreciate you.
I love you.
Love you. All right, well, that concludes another episode. Thank you for spending time with us. As always, we enjoy what we do. You guys have no idea what this means to us. We just enjoy being able to share our experiences and give our tips and just aim to leave the world a better place and help you guys just have more fulfilling and more enriching relationships in your life. That's our goal, right? So other than that, as always, go out there this week, shatter your limits and ascend, and we'll see you guys next week. All right? Take care. God bless.
Bye, guys.
Bye.